All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the true science of how exercise transforms not just your physical shape, but your entire mental landscape. We're talking about the mind-muscle synergy. It's this absolutely fascinating two-way street, right? Where your physical efforts actually reshape your psychological well-being, and, in turn, your mindset directly dictates your physical results.
But before we really get into the nuts and bolts of how this transformation happens, we've got to address a massive roadblock. Why does the bathroom scale lie to us? I mean, we've all been there. You step on that little square in the morning, and you let a single arbitrary number dictate your body image and your self-esteem for the rest of the day. But that scale, it is incredibly misleading. Think about it. All it does is measure gravity's pull on your entire body, your water, bones, organs, fat, and muscle. It tells you absolutely nothing about your actual body composition. You could technically be carrying a high percentage of body fat but weigh very little, a condition a lot of people call being skinny fat. Or, on the flip side, you could be heavy simply because you carry a lot of dense, healthy muscle. So staring at the scale, it literally just leads to frustration.
Dr. William Evans really hit the nail on the head here when he said, losing weight is the wrong goal. You should forget about your weight and instead concentrate on shedding fat and gaining muscle. So that's the crucial takeaway to start us off. We have to instantly shift our paradigm. We need to stop starving ourselves just for the sake of weight loss and start actually fueling our bodies to improve our overall body composition.
Okay, so here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The mind-body connection. 2. Physical mechanisms of body image. 3. Why workout intensity matters. And finally, 4. Visualizing your success.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the mind-body connection.
Now, we aren't just guessing here. This is anchored in hard science. A really comprehensive review from the International Journal of Current Science Research and Review actually proves that regular exercise directly improves body satisfaction and self-worth across all sorts of different populations. It shows that getting active isn't just about burning a few calories, it's a legitimate therapeutic tool. It distracts you from those negative thoughts about your body, it completely upgrades your physical self-perception, and it reduces anxiety. The science totally confirms it. Your subjective well-being is tightly intertwined with simply sticking to an exercise routine.
Moving on to Section 2, Physical Mechanisms of Body Image.
As we look at how to genuinely repair body image, we have to understand the massive difference between weight loss and fat loss. And let's debunk some common fitness myths while we're at it. Weight loss usually focuses on totally flawed metrics, like the scale we just talked about, or BMI. Honestly, BMI is practically useless for athletic individuals because it completely ignores lean muscle mass. Relying on it often leads to these terrible starvation diets where you lose precious muscle tissue. Get this, sometimes up to 50% of the weight you lose on a starvation diet is actually your lean mass. Fat loss, on the other hand, is all about changing your body composition. It's about gaining muscle, protecting your metabolic rate, and literally changing the physical shape and structure of your body. So how do we actually build that physical structure? Well, if you want to build a classic balanced physique, like that sought-after hourglass structure for women or the V-taper for men, you need to build muscle in very specific places. Essential compound exercises do exactly that. We're talking deadlifts, squats, overhead presses, pull-downs, and rows. These aren't just random movements to make you sweat. They are the physical mechanisms of change. By actively adding muscle to your glutes, legs, shoulders, and lats, you create structure. Think about it. A wider upper back and a fuller lower body naturally make your waist look much smaller just by contrast. You are literally reshaping your silhouette through strength.
But, here's a hard truth you just have to accept. Spot reduction is a complete myth. You cannot do endless crunches to somehow magically shrink your waist, and you definitely cannot lengthen or just tone a muscle. You can only build it. That whole idea of high-rep toning workouts, super misleading. The reality is, when you build the muscle underneath while simultaneously lowering your overall body fat percentage, that is when you develop visible shape and definition. It is literally the only physiological way to get that defined look.
All right, Section 3, Why Workout Intensity Matters.
This brings us to a really crucial plot twist. The psychological and physiological benefits you get from your workout depend heavily on how hard and how long you train. Look at these numbers, 90 versus 30. A fascinating meta-analysis by Xu and colleagues found that when it comes to aerobic exercise, intensity and duration are absolutely vital for your mental health outcomes. They discovered it actually took 90 minutes of exercise to significantly raise a person's body self-esteem compared to just 30 minutes. Pushing yourself physically literally builds psychological resilience. When you challenge your body with adequate intensity, you're basically proving to your own mind that you're capable, you're strong, and you're competent. And that directly translates to feeling so much more confident about your physical body.
And physically speaking, intensity triggers this incredible hidden mechanism known as EPOC. That stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Basically, it's the physiological afterburn effect. When you train with high intensity or you lift really heavy weights, you create an oxygen debt. Your body has to work overtime to restore itself back to its resting state, which means you continue to burn calories long after you've left the gym and you're just, sitting on the couch relaxing.
To really put the power of EPOC into perspective, check out this University of Alabama study. Look at the extra calories burned post-workout. Low-intensity cardio might give you a tiny afterburn of around 30 calories. Moderate intensity bumps that up to about 75 calories. But high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, that skyrockets your afterburn to 160 extra calories over a 24-hour period. Pushing that intensity drastically increases your post-workout calorie burn, basically turning your body into a metabolic furnace.
And hey, it's not just HIIT. Weight training increases your metabolic rate by 4% to 7% over a 24-hour period too. Resistance training isn't just for building that structural shape we talked about earlier. It packs a massive afterburn effect all on its own. It indirectly torches fat around the clock. By increasing your lean body mass through intense lifting, you are permanently speeding up your resting metabolic rate. Because muscle is active tissue, it literally demands calories just to exist.
Finally, Section 4. Visualizing your success.
To truly understand how your mindset directly dictates your physical results, I want you to consider this brilliant analogy. Think of your conscious mind as the captain at the bridge of a ship. Your subconscious mind? That's the crew down in the engine room. Now, the crew can't actually see where the ship is going. Their only job is to blindly, faithfully follow the captain's orders. So, if your conscious mind is constantly feeding the crew negative commands like, "Oh, I'll never lose this fat," or "I absolutely hate working out," well, your subconscious crew is going to execute those orders perfectly. It leads you straight into self-sabotage. You absolutely have to consciously take charge of your self-talk to reprogram that crew for success.
The power of that internal programming is staggering. Just look at these numbers. In this really wild study published in Research Quarterly, athletes were tested on their basketball free throws. One group physically practiced for 20 days and saw a 24% improvement. Makes sense, right? But another group did zero physical practice. Instead, they spent 20 minutes a day deeply relaxed, purely visualizing themselves shooting perfect free throws. Their improvement? An almost identical 23%. Purely mental practice yielded nearly the exact same physical result. By visualizing your goal as already achieved, you put your subconscious on autopilot to act in a way that is totally consistent with that mental image.
Elite athletes have known this secret for decades. Arnold Schwarzenegger famously said, "When I am doing barbell curls, I am visualizing my biceps as mountains. Not just big, but huge." Elite bodybuilders utilize these vivid mental motion pictures during their workouts. They literally visualize the blood surging into the muscle, manifesting physical changes through incredibly intense, focused belief. The mind-muscle connection isn't just some cute metaphor. It is a physiological reality where your attention directly guides your body's energy and resources.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. How will you consciously direct your mind to build the body you deserve? Because you know the truth now. The scale lies. Heavy compound lifts are what actually build your structure. High intensity drives both physical afterburn and massive mental confidence. And your subconscious crew? They are just standing by, waiting for your orders. It's time to take control of your self-talk, align your physical intensity, and put this incredible mind-muscle synergy into action today.